Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the center and the state relations, alright? And basically in the center state relations, these are the topics which we have scheduled for the discussion under this particular series, alright? Like we are going to start with the introduction part, thereafter the legislative relations, thereafter the administrative relations, thereafter the financial relations, thereafter the trends in the center state relations. Okay? That's the thing we are discussing about. All right. So far, we have done with the introduction part, legislative relations, administrative relations. The topics we are left with is the financial relations and the trends in the center state relation. All right. So we will start from where we had left in the previous lecture. I hope that you have revised the previous lecture in the well enough manner before you have come for this lecture. Why? Because that will help you to keep the things in your mind for a longer time. So if you are doing this on the regular basis, the thing will be much more beneficial for you. If you are not doing this on the regular basis, then thing might be difficult for you. All right. So basically, as we know that we are covering the financial relations and these other things which we had discussed. Okay. Now, what we were discussing in the last lecture was the intergovernmental tax immunities. Right? Like any other federal constitution, the Indian constitution also contains the rule of immunity from mutual taxation and makes the following provisions in this regard. Okay, like this one. But the question is, like, what is the concept of mutual taxation? What is the meaning of it? All right. So basically, if we talk about it, then we know that India or Indian territory is basically divided into three forms. All right. First is the states. Second is the union territories. And third is the territories could be acquired anytime. Okay. These are the three divisions of the India. All right. And by merging all of them, a single nation form, which we proudly called as in India. All right. So out of these two areas, union territories and the territories could be acquired anytime. They are directly controlled by the central government, right? They are directly controlled by the central government. But when we talk about the states, okay, when we talk about states, who control the states? Their respective state governments. All right, that's the thing. So here the actual picture starts. Like we could say the central government having its own taxation policy, right? Its own taxation policy. Similarly, the state government having its own taxation policy. Okay, so the central taxation policy could be applied any of these areas. Okay, but the state taxation policy could only be applied within the state in which they are governing. Okay, so suppose if there is any property or anything, okay, on which the center has already imposed a tax, if the territory lies within the union territory and the territories could be acquired anytime, okay, if the property lies here, so there will be only whole tax applicable on it, which is the central government tax. But if the property lies in the state, okay, any of the state, all right, so what will happen? That there are chances, or you could say that high chances, that both the state government taxes as well as the central government taxes. Both the taxes could be applied on it, and that is what we call the concept of mutual taxation. Okay, why? Because the property lies within the interest of both the government. The states falls under the category of India, so that the central government could easily exercise the taxation policy on it. And because the property lies in the state, so the state government having the right to impose the tax. So to overcome this, basically we had the concept of immunity from mutual taxation. All right. So the first concept is exemption of central property from the state taxation. Okay. It is the exemption. The property of center is exempted from all taxes imposed by state or any authority within a state, like the municipalities, which is at the local level, district board, also again the local level, panchayats, and so on. It means that if any property of the central government lies in any of the state, so no tax could be imposed on the property by the state government or any authority which is workable under the state government. The authorities, like we had discussed, municipalities, district boards, panchayat, and so on. But the parliament is empowered to remove this ban. Okay? This word property includes the lands, buildings, chattels, shares, debts, everything that has a money value, and every kind of property, movable or immovable, and tangible or intangible. Further, the property may be used for the sovereign, like the armed forces or commercial purposes. Okay, so what we are seeing here, we had, you can say, got three concepts here. First concept is that no tax of the state government and any authority of the state government could be applied on the any property of the center. First thing we had discussed. Second, but the parliament having the power to remove this ban. Third thing we had discussed, that the word property here refers anything like the lands, building, chattel, shares, debts, everything which having the money value. All right. And the property could be anything, like it could be a movable property, immovable, tangible, or intangible. Further, it could be used for the armed forces or the commercial purpose. All right. Thereafter, the corporations or the companies created by the central government are not immune from the taxation or the local taxation. The reason is that a corporation or a company is a separate legal entity. So, what is the concept of separate legal entity? Let me tell you. Suppose this is you. All right. You have opened a company which is XYZ. All right. So basically, here, this XYZ is not a single entity, which means that if you claim that I have opened this company, so me and company are the same people, no, that will not happen, because in the eyes of legal, all right, this is a artificial entity or person which has been created by law. Okay. And you are the natural entity or person. All right. So your company is separated from you and you are separate from company in the eyes of legal. Similar thing happen with the government also. Like suppose if we call it as a central government, for example, if this is a central government and this is company created by central government. All right. In both the cases, the central government is separated from the company. So that's why only the properties which are having under the direct control of the central governments are exempted from the state tax. But the companies which have been created by the central government are following the path of separate legal entity. That's why they are not immune from the state taxation or the local taxation, because they are not the part of the central government. Okay. Thereafter, next thing which we could see here is the exception of state property or income from the central taxation. The property and income of a state is accepted from the central taxation. Such income may be derived from sovereign function or commercial functions, but the center can tax the commercial operations of a state if parliament so provides. Alright, it means that similar immunity is provided to the provided to the state government from the center. Okay, central government could not impose taxes on the income of the state if it is derived from any property and average sovereign functions or the commercial functions. But basically, the center is having the right that they could impose that taxation anytime on the commercial functions of the state if parliament so provides. Or basically, in parliament, we talk about Rajya Sabha. Why? Because Rajya Sabha is the representative of the states. However, the parliament can declare any particular trade or business as incidental to the ordinary functions of the government, and it would then not be taxable. Okay, which means that if the parliament or basically the Rajya Sabha passes a resolution that suppose this is the state government, for example, they are doing six functions. All right. In the previous case, all of these functions were regarded as an ordinary function. All right. But after the resolution passed in the parliament declared that only the above three are the ordinary function, and the rest below are the, so as per the provisions, basically these functions will be taxable by the central government. Okay, so that's the thing. Notably, the property and income of the local authorities situated within a state are not exempted from the central taxation. Similarly, the property or income of corporation and companies owned by a state can be taxed by the center. Okay. Thereafter, the Supreme Court, in an advisory opinion in 1963, held that the immunity granted to a state in respect of the central taxation does not extend to duties of custom or duties of excise. Okay. In other words, the center can impose custom duty on goods imported or exported by a state, or an excise duty on a goods produced or manufactured by the state. All right. But remember, this is only the advisory opinion, not necessary opinion. Got it? Now let's move ahead. Thereafter, financial relations during the effect of emergency. All right. The center state financial relations in normal times described above. It means that whatever we have covered so far, they are the normal times functions. But they are undergoes the changes during the emergencies, and these are like first is the national emergency. While the proclamation of the national emergency under Article 352 is in operation, the president can modify the constitutional distribution of revenues between the center and the state. All right. This means that the president can either reduce or cancel the transfer of finances, both tax sharing and the grants in aid from the center to the state. Such modification continues till the end of the financial year in the which the financial ceases to operate. So what is happening here? That basically in normal times the distribution of revenues between the center and the states functions as per the constitution of the country. All right. But whenever the national emergency is enforced, which could be imposed on three grounds: external aggregation, war, or armed rebellion. All right. So, whenever the national emergency is in the force, what will happen? That basically the rights transferred to the President of India that he could modify the constitutional distribution of revenue. Okay. This means that the president can either reduce or cancel the transfer of finances, like both the tax sharing and the grants in aid, okay, from the center to the state. And these modifications could be continued till the end of the financial year in which the emergency ceases to operate. Suppose if the financial year is 2006 to 2017, that is the financial year and that is in force. All right, that is in force. So during this time, the emergency was, you can say, revoked or abolished. So till the end of financial year. Okay, tell me what is the duration of financial year. Now you are required to tell me two things, like what is the duration of calendar year of financial year. For this, I am providing 30 seconds to think and answer, and your time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. The time's up. Calendar year is basically starts from the January to December. Okay, that's the calendar year. Financial year is basically starts from 1st April to 31st March. All right, that's the thing. All right, so basically that will be continued till the end of the financial year, or you can say till the 31st March 2017. All right, that is the thing. Thereafter, financial emergency. While the proclamation of the financial emergency under the Article 360 is in operation, the center can give directions to the state, okay, like to observe the specified canons of the financial property from where the money could be generated, to reduce the salaries and allowances of all class of persons serving in the state, whether it's a group A, group B, group C, and group D officers or workers. Thereafter, to reserve all money bills and other financial bills for the consultation of the president. All right. So this could be happen during the financial emergency. Thereafter, tables or articles basically related to the center state financial relations at a glance. What are the articles related with it? First, Article number 268. Duties levied by the union but collected and appropriated by the state. Okay. Thereafter, 268A. Service tax levied by the union and collected and appropriated by union and states. Repealed. 269. Taxes levied and collected by the union but assigned to the states. 269A. Levy and collection of goods and service taxes in course of interstate trade or commerce. 270. Taxes levied and distributed between the union and the state. All right. Thereafter, distribution of revenues between union and the state. Okay. Article 271. Surcharge or certain duties and taxes for purposes of the union. 272. Taxes which are levied and collected by the union and may be distributed between the union and the states. Repealed. 273. Grants in lieu of export duty on jute and jute products. 274. Prior recommendation of precedent required to bills affecting taxation in which states are interested. Okay. Thereafter, 275. Grants from union to the certain states. 276. Taxes on the professions, trades, callings and employments. 277 stands for the savings held by the center and the states. 278. Agreement with the states in the Part V of the first schedule with regard to the certain financial matters. This is also repealed. 279. Calculations of net proceed, etc. Okay. Thereafter, miscellaneous financial provisions like 282. Expenditure deferable by the union or a state out of its revenues. 283. Custody, etc. of consolidated funds, contingency funds, monies credited to the public accounts. 284. Custody of suitors, deposits and other monies received by the public servants and the courts. 285. Exemption of property of the union from the state taxation. 286. Restrictions as to imposition of tax on the sale or purchase of goods. Alright. 287. Exemption from taxes on the electricity. 288. Exception from taxation by states in respect of water or electricity in certain cases. 289. Exemption of property and income of a state from the union taxation. 290. Adjustment in respect of the certain expenses and the pensions. 290A. Annual payment to the certain Deva sum funds. 291. Privy purse sums of rulers, which was repealed. Alright. Thereafter, the borrowing articles. 292. Borrowing by the government of India and 293. Borrowing by the states. Alright. So students, basically in this lecture, we had finished the financial relations. In the next lecture, we will start with the trends in the center-state relations. Till then, just revise all the facts and figures whatsoever we have discussed so far. Alright. So that you will be able to grasp the facts and figures in the proper form. Why? Because in the next lecture, we are going to talk about trends, change between the legislative relations, the administrative relations, and the financial relations in all of the relations. Alright. So I hope that the lecture is easy for you to understand. Alright. We will start from the trends in the center-state relations from the next lecture. Till then, thank you.